Kids go. What's up, college football fans, and good morning to all of you. We have got another big game breakdown for you today. We've got an SEC showdown this time. It's Alabama at Mizzou, and this is a surprisingly good matchup as we head into the week. Um, and surprising, I say, because I don't think anybody expected Missouri to be at in this situation where this is one of the premier matchups of the week. Um, Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button for us. Drop a comment in the comment section. I'd like to know what y'all's thoughts are on this one. It's a 2.5-point spread in favor of Alabama. And of course, I said it was on the road there in Columbia, Missouri. 52.5 is the over under set for this one. Y'all let me know in the comment section. What are your predictions for this one? Where's this one going? This is a super interesting matchup for a whole heck of a lot of different reasons. But Ahmad Hardy and Ty Simpson are the names that I'm hearing a whole heck of a lot about whenever you listen to anything about this game. Those guys have been absolutely remarkable. And if you've been under a rock, Ahmad Hardy, of course, the running back that came in through the transfer portal for Mizzou, and Ty Simpson, of course, more of the organically grown quarterback there at Alabama, really having a stellar year. Look, I mean, we'll get down to the nitty gritty of this matchup. In my opinion, it's the pass rush for Mizzou that's been really good. Again, through the transfer portal, Mizzou's been amazing. Eli Drinkwitz has been amazing through the transfer portal. They've got some really good pass rushers at those end spots, outside linebacker, whatever you want to call them. Are they able to get pressure on Ty Simpson? We've seen Ty Simpson really just tear it up, really kind of lay his claim at the top of the Heisman ranks at this point in the season. I mean, the season's still early, but the guys right up there with some of the best odds to win the Heisman at this point. And he's shown us that if you don't get pressure on him, then he's going to make you pay. And so the secondary for Mizzou, I wouldn't exactly say has been the strength for this team. They're going to be tested here. You've got some good wide receiver pieces for Alabama, specifically Bernard, of course, Williams. So you've got some threats out there, and if you give Ty Simpson time, he's going to make you pay. And Georgia, I thought in certain situations did bring some pressure, and the guy's actually a little more slippery than what you think he is. He's able to move around the pocket a little bit better than I think what a lot of people anticipated before the season started. So that's kind of one aspect of this game, and then of course you've got Bo Perbula on the other side for Mizzou offensively, working there with Ahmad Hardy in the backfield. He's been, I would say, more than just a pleasant surprise. He's been very good this season. 9 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 1,203 yards. Those are some really solid numbers. Kevin Coleman kind of being the straw that stirs the drink with the passing game as far as the wide receivers go. Only 1 touchdown on the season, but 39 receptions. This offense has been a very pleasant surprise. Alabama has not been particularly great against the run. So I think the recipe for Mizzou has got to be running the football here. What are your thoughts on this game? Those are a couple of the aspects that I'm really looking at. Is Missouri's offense able to sustain the run game throughout the game, move the sticks, possess the ball, right? I think those are the recipes for success, and I think we'll know early in the game if they're able to do that. I think they'll be able to keep pace in this one. What are your thoughts whenever you go into this matchup, Alabama at Missouri?
Yeah, I think when you really break this down, Ahmad Hardy is obviously the name to know if you don't know, because Missouri, uh, they haven't really had a murderer's row of schedule so far. They're getting into the meat of it now. They have faced South Carolina, they have faced Kansas. Those are the only two Power Four matchups that they've had so far. But given their schedule, they've been pretty dirty. They lead the nation in rushing yards allowed on defense, giving up only 62 yards per game. If Alabama doesn't have that aspect, and I think that they'll end up with more than 62 yards in this game, especially with the way Jam Miller's running the football right now. I think he looks like an absolute wrecking ball on the ground coming back from injury. But as much as we want to talk about Missouri's run game and their offense and Bo Pribula and how much that really matters, I think that Missouri has a sneaky good defense. They're second in the country in yards allowed, 203 yards allowed. And you mentioned, the DBs, and yes, that is the weak part of the defense for Missouri, but they're still 10th in the country in passing yards allowed at 141. So this is a top five defense in the country statistically so far. Again, they're just now getting into the meat of their schedule. It doesn't really matter how you start. It matters how you finish when you get through this SEC schedule. And then you look on the offensive side, they're sixth in the country, um, amassing 547 yards per game, fourth in the country in rushing yards. They've just been a complete team, one of the more complete teams in the country. And this is going to be their first real test, I think, um, for the season. And this is an opportunity for Missouri to catapult themselves into the top 10. I think if they win this game, they will be a top 10
Mhm.
team. Um, to me, it's Alabama. If they're going to win this game, they're going to have to stop Ahmad Hardy. If they're not able to do that, it's I mean, time of possession is going to come into play here. I think that Missouri can really just hold on to the ball and not give it up, and that's a real possibility. I mean, when you look at Alabama against Vanderbilt, they did tighten up later in the game, but they were giving up some yards against Vanderbilt. We know they gave up a ton of yards against Georgia. They really couldn't stop Georgia running the football. Um, they've had some issues. They've had some issues, Mark. Stopping the run.
Mhm.
Uh, they're 104th in the country on defense in yards per rush, giving up 4.7 per rush. And Missouri has two running backs, and Ahmad Hardy. And who's the other one? Jamal Roberts, both averaging over 7 yards per carry. They got a third guy, Marquise Davis, who's averaging 5.9 yards per carry. So there's a stable of running backs that are able to come in for Missouri and stay fresh, and a lot of that a lot of their success is due to the offensive line really getting after it. We talk about Ahmad Hardy and what he's been able to do, but a lot of that success comes from the offensive line. I mean, obviously, all three running backs are having success on the ground. It's not because they're all world beaters.
Yeah.
More than likely, it's because their offensive line is getting it done in the trenches, and that's saying something. And then on the flip side for Mizzou, um, the defensive line is doing it. They're stopping the run. They're putting pressure on the quarterback. Just really doing a solid job. So to me, if Alabama wins this game, it's going to be because they get Jeremy Bernard involved. Ty Simpson looks as elite as he has all season. He's able to escape the pressure, get the ball down the field. Ryan Williams, you need a play or two out of him. That's pretty much what he's good
Yeah.
for right now. I think he's a not necessarily a possession receiver, but somebody who could kill you. Really could end up with a 150 yards and two touchdowns in a game and be the reason you lose. I think you're going to need some of that going. And then a sustainable run game, 100 plus yards on the ground, 150 yards, something like that. And that's going to be the recipe for success for Alabama. I'm really struggling, and actually let me back up, because when I was going into my research for this and looking into both of these teams and what they've done all season, my I guess you could say my heart was telling me that Alabama was going to win this game. That they were going to be the ones that I ended up picking in this game. And as I started breaking it down, I kind of was losing reasons why they would win this game. It's easier to point to Missouri and pick reasons for them to win the game. I'm struggling. So I'll ask you, Mark, what are the keys to victory for Alabama? Because I mean, outside of having a solid passing game and seeing Ty Simpson continue his Heisman campaign, I don't really. I'm not finding too many ways for Alabama to win this football game, which is surprising for me to say.
Jam Miller, he's got to have a hell of a game. I think he needs to hit a couple of explosive plays in this game. I think not only does he need to be able to, help keep Alabama on schedule offensively and ahead of the sticks, but I think he's also going to have to be able to hit a play. And that's something that Alabama has lacked this season. But as of late, seems to be getting going a little bit. And, you know, eh, as much as, it seems almost like cliche to talk about at this point because Alabama, everything I've seen about Alabama has talked about this today. But Caden Proctor has become a bit of an X factor in a couple of different games now, getting some big first downs or touchdowns. So, yeah, man, I think for Alabama to be able to win this one, I think they're going to have to be able to be really, really good in the red zone, and that's going to mean needing to be able to run the football. Um, and Ty Simpson's got to have a little bit more of that magic because he's a little bit of a Houdini back there, man. I mean, he's kind of hard to get your hands on at times. But one thing that really stuck out to me. So when Georgia played Alabama, Georgia could not win any one-on-ones on the line of scrimmage really in this game, at least defensively. I'm not saying offensively Georgia didn't win them, but defensively for Georgia, they could not really win one-on-ones against Alabama's offensive line. And I think that Mizzou has guys that can win those one-on-one matchups, and that can create pressure that Georgia was not able to create. Georgia was bringing pressure from the middle level of the defense, and it was taking 2, 3, 4, sometimes longer seconds to be able to actually get to the quarterback. And not only does that give the quarterback time to make decisions down the field and allow guys to get open, and it's hard to cover for that long, but also a guy like Ty Simpson can improvise in that time. And we really at the Georgia Bulldogs really gave him a lot of time to cook up a lot of different things. And I think Missouri has got more of that ability to be able to win those one-on-one matchups there defensively along the line of scrimmage. And I think that is a huge, huge key to victory. Or, if they can't win those one-on-ones and they can't create pressure while also, playing the pass, then I think that's also a key to victory for Alabama, right? Is being able to block those guys. So I think that's a huge, huge matchup in this one. But again, Jam Miller's got to do his thing. And Alabama's defense has got to create some turnovers, I think, Mason, because look, last week against Vanderbilt had opportunities to, first of all, they were in that game at halftime. It was tied at halftime, but Vanderbilt squandered opportunities in the red zone against Alabama.
Oh,
And
2
it
turnovers.
wasn't, and it was bad. I mean, there were bad decisions. And we all knew that Diego Pavia was prone to making some of those decisions. I mean, we've seen it already this season, throwing in a double and sometimes even triple coverage, Brett Favre-esque, right? So can Missouri, they play a really safe brand of football. Only 3 interceptions for Beulah this year, 9 touchdowns. So that's a great ratio there. But with what they're wanting to do on offense, that should, on paper, be a very safe way to go about playing offense against this defense and not giving Alabama extra possessions. You got to make Alabama earn it. They've been great on third down. You've got to get them in third and long, and you've got to get some red zone stops. That's going to be huge for Mizzou in this one. So whoever can win those areas, I know that's kind of cliche, but that's who's going to win this one, because I think Vegas has got it right. I think this game's I think these teams are a really good matchup. 2.5 points seems about right to me. I know where this thing started at like what, 5 or 4.5. Everybody's betting on Mizzou at this point, so I'm hesitant, but I really do think Mizzou can win this game if they can play a clean brand of football on offense. So I'm going to take. I would probably just take Mizzou on the money line, honestly. If I'm going to bet on this one, just might as well just take them on the money line, man, and get your plus money. Over under 52.5. I really think this one is going to play to the under. But there are scenarios in my head where I could see over too, man. So I think as far as the betting world goes, I'll stay away from this one, but I'm going to take Mizzou to win. I think this is a crazy year, and Missouri's got some tough games still left on their schedule, by the way, just looking at it. They've got Oklahoma, Auburn, and there was one other tough one on there too. But anyway, give me Mizzou. What do you think?
Yeah, I've actually got 63% picking Alabama against the spread, which is interesting.
With the line movement, that's kind of weird.
Yes, that makes me wonder if Vegas is kind of onto something here, where they want to keep taking that Alabama money. And so they move the line closer to Alabama. So the Bama betters
Well, that
are
makes me feel better.
yeah, because I feel the same way. Like I said, I'm breaking this down, breaking the game down, and I just see more paths to victory for Missouri. It's at home, and I wanted to bring this up. Why the heck is this a noon game, right? How much does that suck for Missouri to say we finally get Alabama at home? We've got an advantage in some cases, and we're going to take the crowd completely out of it and start this game at 11 o'clock Central Time.
If we would have started at 7, we would have had the stadium construction finished by then.
Yeah, right. I just feel like this should be a night game. Instead, Georgia Auburn gets the night game. I thought that deserved more so to be a noon game, to be honest with you, than
they're
Missouri.
actually replacing all the lights, so they'll be able to have night games very, very soon, probably next year.
Yeah. What's interesting too, though, the 61% is picking this one to go over 51.5, 52.5, somewhere around there. I do think it's lower scoring because Missouri wants this to be lower scoring. They want to play keep away, want to run the football. I think you see a lot of Bo Beulah in this one, running the football a little bit more than we have in previous games so far this year, just given they've already got an injury at the quarterback position. You do want to keep him healthy, but I think you kind of tell him, hey, take off when you need to and get down, get out of bounds, slide, whatever you got to do here. But he's a guy who can certainly hurt you with his legs as well as his arm. I think he's a fantastic passer as well and developing. But I like Missouri in this one. I can't get away from this pick. I think that this may be one that I am taking to the window.
Absolutely. There you have it, folks. Yeah, man, look, I think there's a lot of different outcomes because you were talking about the over-under. What if Missouri comes out in the first half and, yeah, they want to run the football, but they've been really good at running the football. So what if they go up and down the field, and they're scoring? And that just scares me off on this one. Y'all let us know in the comment section. What are you betting on in this one? I'm interested to hear. Give us Mizzou. We're on the Mizzou side of this thing. It's going to be a really good one at noon, SEC showdown. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to the First and Long College Football Show. We'll be back on tomorrow with more breakdowns, and we've got our betting show coming up later this week. Between the Lines, we do it every single week. Our best bets against the spread. We hope to see you there. Everybody have a great day. See you tomorrow.